Well, you know, sometimes the job just isn't big enough. You know, sometimes you can, as one friend said to me, her company came and she wanted to leave the company, and they kept trying to give her raises. And they kept throwing more money at her. And she finally said to him, "It's enough money, it's enough salary. It's the job that's too small." So I really think that for some people, they're not meant to do an 8 to 5. They don't like to do an 8 to 5. They don't want someone to come and tell them when they can come into work, when they go to the bathroom, when they can take a day off. And oh, by the way, you can take a day off because you took one off last week. Remember, your children were sick. They don't like that kind of someone else bossing them around and telling them what to do. I believe there are a lot of people out there that they can be a better boss to themselves than any other boss would ever even dare to be to them.
Are you one of those kinds of people?
Oh, I'm definitely one of those kind of people. I boss me so good. See, some days I like to work really, really hard, and then some days I just want to stay in my sweatpants all day long. Sometimes I work real hard, and sometimes I don't work at all. But at least I get to choose. It's nice to have choices. What did I do before? I worked for a major communications company. And I was a quality control inspector on integrated circuitries. What I did all day long, 8 hours a day, was I looked under a microscope at integrated circuitries. That's what I did. Now, isn't that an exciting life? I wore a lab technician's coat, and I worked with all men. I had very few, if any, friends, and the only thing I had to look forward to every single day was lunch and going home. That's what I looked forward to. And because that was my two big things I looked forward to, I gained a lot of weight, my self-esteem plummeted, I was a single parent. It wasn't good. My family was very concerned about me, very concerned. In fact, they'd call me up all the time. You know, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? And, you know, I was in my 20s and I was doing the same thing everybody else was doing, just really surviving. And I would never have thought in a million years I would ever get in the people industry, because I didn't really even have friends. Didn't think I needed them, didn't think I wanted them.
Listening to you now, that's hard to imagine.
It is. I had this alter ego. I had this other person in me that was dying to get out. But you know what? What I really discovered is what you feed grows. You know, I was feeding my low, poor self-esteem by being in an environment that fed low and poor self-esteems. Then when I got into an environment that appreciated, enhanced your self-esteem, and really brought the best out in you, well, voila. Guess what I found? There was a whole nother person in there just waiting to come out. I couldn't believe it was me. Still, in fact, I still shake my head. I still can't believe it's me. The financial perspective was I cared a lot about money when I didn't have any. It was a big deal for me when I didn't have any. And now I've income several million in my company. I've paid off a multi-million-dollar home, to have trips around the world every single year, have a lifestyle that most people can't even hardly believe. I'm home with my children. I have 5, so that gets to be fun. Plus, I'm also a grandma. And to have the flexibility, the freedom is a lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. In fact, it was really funny. My youngest daughter, she was having some friends over one day, and one of her friends said to her, "Don't your parents work?" And she said, "No, they own their own business." And it was very funny because we're home for them. We know exactly what's happening in our family all the time. We don't ever have a situation where one of our kids comes in and nobody's there. We're there.
Yeah.
At the crucial parts of their life, we are there.
I've been told that you have opened up Mexico, yet you don't speak a word of Spanish. Tell me about that.
I speak maybe 5 words, and I get the 5 words mixed up. I forget when to say hola or como está or muy bien. I'm not sure which one goes where, but I just hope I get it right once in a while. Went into Mexico several years ago, and it is a wonderful market. The women in Mexico, they don't mind if you can't speak a lot of Spanish, because usually they'll have an interpreter for you, or I'll take one with me when I travel. Mexico has been an incredible market because when you bring the opportunity to them, they are naturally good entrepreneurs. They've been raised since little babies to be good at doing business, raised that way. So they get it, and they get it quick.
Being
They really do.
opportunistic, having some initiative.
Yes, very hard workers, and they love the opportunity. I've had people come on the bus for 22 hours, sit in the front row of training that I've done, and never blink and take notes every single minute, and then come back 4 months later and they've income more, they're doing well, maybe they have on new clothes, and they'll come back again and again. And just this last time that I went to Mexico, one of the people that I started training with, she was so excited. She's a single mom, she has 3 children. She's so excited because she's sending her children to the university. It's the first generation in their entire family that has ever attended a university. And she also bought her home this last year. Bought her home. That is huge. That is huge. And you know, that just brings such a tender note to me because I remember her when she came with borrowed shoes to my very first workshop. Well, one of the things that my husband decided, well, we actually decided together, and I remember very crisply one day, he could be and stay in the business of being in the engineering field and an architect, or we could work together. So we said, okay, let's try it for 1 year. And if I don't like you being in the business with me, you'll get out. That was how clear that was. But he has created such a role for himself. He's really the infrastructure. He not only works with the website, he works with the husbands, he sends them birthday cards, he knows all their names. He has really built a relationship with the men and the husbands of all of our consultants and all of our leadership. The funny part about my husband is that he goes out and he makes it a journey to find the most perfect birthday card for all of the husbands. And they're not always in good taste. He's taken it upon himself to look and say, okay, what do the spouses need? What do they need to understand to have this be a business that they can all benefit from and all understand? Because we found that when the husband is in support of the wife in business, oh, there's a dynamic duel. I think you should never compare yourself with anyone else. I think comparisons are tough because you're always going to end up on the bad side of a comparison. Never compare yourself with anyone else, and just know that you have God-given abilities that are unique just to you, imprinted just for you, and that there is a whole big, big world that awaits just for you if you can be just you. And just you is just good enough. And I think that when I started to realize that, I didn't have to be somebody else. I could be just me. With all the good and the bad and the ugly, I could be just me. And I believe I liked me better when I was just me, because when I tried to pretend to be somebody else, ugh, that was tough. Because then I was trying to put on somebody else's face. And it never worked for me. I always just felt odd. Felt like I wasn't in the moment. And so I guess the advice I would have for someone else is, number one, don't ever compare yourself with anyone else. Don't do that. That's going to steal your joy and mess with your head. Just be you. And you is plenty good enough.